Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're going to be talking about how to go from your ideal business, how to go from your idea to your ideal business. The main focus will be how to choose and build the right business for you. That's going to be our focus this evening. So let's get straight into the lesson today. I'm going to be sharing with you my slides, so you probably may not see me for a while now and don't wonder where I've gone. I am here. Let me just segue into the slides. All right. Thank you for joining us again on a wonderful evening like this. And I'm sure today will be an interesting blessing to you because of what we're going to be sharing, that I think you would absolutely enjoy and delight in. So let me present that and see how that goes. Oh, okay. Okay. Share. Okay. We're sharing. Yep. I want to go back here. Okay. Thank you. All right. Today it's about going from your idea to ideal business. And how are you going to do that? Well, the first step is that you need to choose a business that is right for you. My name is Boomy Tokan. And for those who do not know me, I've just given you a little brief history of who I am. My name is Boomy Tokan, the creator of Founder Journey Framework. I'm a lecturer at a college in business. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I've got over 320,000 students on Udemy, and I've answered, I've received 9 million plus views on Quora Answers. And to date, I've raised over 3 million in small funds for small charities, because that's one of the things that we do. It's easier for me to say, just Google me and the rest you'll find out yourself. All right, this is what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn, by the end of this session, you will know why choosing the right business is the most important decision that you'll make as a founder. Choosing the right business is the most important decision that you would make as a founder. I just forgot to record also onto the computer. So, all right, today we're going to learn why choosing the right business for you is the most important decision that you make, because when we talk about going from idea to ideal business, that has to be one of the most important fundamental decisions. The next is the 5 stages every founder goes through. And when we go through those stages, you'll understand why. And the 7 signs that you have chosen the right business. And of course, once you have done that, the question is, what do you do next? And we'll find out as we go on. All right, let's get into the meat of today. Now, I think that most founders ask the wrong question. What do I mean by that? They ask, what is a good business to start? Or let's put it bluntly, I want a business that I'm going to make money. That's what people talk about. But in my mind, a better question is, what is the right business for me? Notice I did not say, what is the right business only? No, what is the right business for you? And the right business for you that I've seen over the years, and after helping so many founders, is that the right business is the one that matches the following. It matches your strengths, it matches your interests, it matches your values, it matches your long-term goals, it matches the things you hold dear that you probably don't talk about that much. It matches all those things. It matches your gifts, it matches your abilities, it matches your skills. So finding the right business is more important than just picking up a business that is making money and trying to run with it, as you're going to see in a moment. So now, also, there is a cost of choosing the wrong business. Whenever somebody chooses the wrong business, it's like choosing the wrong partner. It's like choosing the wrong spouse. It's like choosing the wrong car. It has a cost. There are years of wasted efforts, not to talk about the hundreds, thousands of pounds that you could have wasted in that business. It's not uncommon to hear people who have, for example, when I was in the music business, I met this particular artist who had spent over £90,000 on recording, i.e., she had paid producers, she had traveled, she has created products, but she had not sold one CD. That's a waste of money right there. Okay. So it's not only the waste of money and other resources, also the waste of time. If we can fit that, of course, into resources, it's the amount of time someone has wasted. And then that most of the time results in loss of confidence and burnout. So I've got here that many founders don't fail because they aren't capable. They fail because they're trying to build a business that is not right for them. That's why we're looking at this very closely today. Now, I want to give you a map that I want you to put at the back of your mind to show you the stages most founders, I'm not going to say every single founder, but I would say most founders go through these stages. The first stage is the explorer stage. The second is the builder stage. The third, operator. The fourth, growth founder stage. And the fifth is the visionary stage. From what I've looked at, every successful founder begins at the explorer stage. And I'm going to show you an example in a moment of what I'm talking about. This is the explorer stage is where we are right now, where we're talking about idea to ideal business, choosing the right business for me, choosing the right business for you. So at this explorer stage, you're not only choosing the right business, but you're also developing certain capabilities that are going to be instrumental in your business development in future. It's going to be important to your business growth in the future. You develop this at the stage where you are. As much as you feel that you are confused, or some of you maybe, you don't know what to choose, that's why you're here. I'm not sure and all that. You are also developing certain capabilities if you follow what I'm going to show you this evening, okay? So now, at this is what I call the explorer stage, where you are. You're trying to go from idea to ideal. How do you do it? Okay, first you need to choose the right business. Okay, so how do you choose the right business? But before we get there, I want to show you that whilst you are going through choosing the right business, you are also developing certain capabilities, all right? And those capabilities include curiosity, they include opportunity recognition, they include customer discovery, they also include decision making. Every founder goes through this because everything that follows depends on what you do here, depends on you choosing the right business for you and developing these capabilities. Okay. Now, I want to look at two examples of two famous founders. One of them is Oprah, and the second is Steve Jobs. Oprah, some of the things we know about Oprah evolved around, oh, she had the Oprah Winfrey Show, and then she's a billionaire. Okay, that's true. However, if we back up to her beginning, because she didn't start with the ability to be a billionaire when she started, she didn't, right? She built up to, that's what I was talking about, the founder stages that build you up to something like that, okay? So if you look at the beginning where Oprah was, Oprah loved reading. Oprah loved speaking. Oprah loved listening. When Oprah was young, her grandmother used to take her to church. Her grandmother taught her to read when she was 3, and then she'd take her to church where she had to recite Bible verses in front of the congregation, and they used to lovingly call her a preacher, right? So she loved connecting with people. Okay, so television wasn't the beginning, right? The TV just gave her the platform to showcase what she already had. Now, listen to that very carefully. Television gave her the opportunity to showcase what she already had. Because a little bit of history about Oprah, when she used to be a news anchor, they moved her over to they moved her away from news television because they said that she's getting too emotionally involved with people, right? And the Oprah Winfrey Show ended up being what was actually right for her, because then she could really get emotionally involved with people, as you know, all right? So it was the result of her exploring, reading, speaking, communicating. Every time she got up in church to speak, every time she spoke to somebody in school, every time she went on a competition and won, all those things were helping her to push her and nudge her towards the business she should build. Okay, that's what happened. So great businesses emerge from discovering your natural strengths and then creating, and where those strengths can create unusual value. So let me say that again. Great businesses emerge from discovering where your natural strengths create unusual value. That's exactly what Oprah did. She was able to leverage all that emotional connection, empathy, ability to read, ability to speak, ability to listen, ability to connect with people. She was able to leverage all that onto the Oprah Winfrey Show. Okay. Again, explorer stage, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was always fascinated with the following things. He was fascinated with electronics. He was fascinated with design, what something looks like. And he was fascinated with simplicity and the creation of better user experience. So you can see why Apple is what it is, why the iPhone is what it is, because think about somebody who was fascinated with electronics, fascinated with design, how something looks, how it feels in your body, the user experience, and also trying to make things simple. I don't know whether iPhone is simple, but I don't really use iPhone. But people around me have iPhone, so I know what I'm talking about there. So Apple wasn't just a random idea. So when somebody says, "Oh, I want to be like Steve Jobs," do you have electronic interest? Do you have design interest? Do you have simplicity interest? Do you have creating better user experience desire? You've already found out that most people don't want to be like Steve Jobs. They probably don't have it, but they have their own capabilities. They have their own skills. I'm going to show you that in a moment. So that's what grew into creating Apple. Again, I've got the greatest founders rarely stumble into success. They discover it through exploration. So it was when Steve Jobs was exploring all this that he began to create the Mac. Okay. Now, I hope you're getting this right. So let's go on to, once we've looked at Steve Jobs and we looked at Oprah, all right, what are the 7 signs that you have chosen the right business? How do you know that you have chosen the right business? 7 signs that tells you have. Okay. Number 1 is, we're going to be looking at those things today, but what I want you to do, if you notice, I really wanted to put this in the slides because I said to myself, I don't want to start speaking and then forget. If you notice, I said, test one idea or 2 ideas side by side. Somebody might say, well, I have one idea that I'm thinking about. Okay. As I give you those 7 signs that will show you whether you've chosen the right idea for you, what I'd like you to do is to get a piece of paper and write each sign, then the next box, your idea, and decide, okay, does my idea meet this criteria of sign number 1? If it does, Okay, put a tick. If it doesn't, put 0. And then the next box, I want you to score how prevalent is that sign in your business. So you might be able to say, well, I think if I'm going to give it, I'm really into that sign. So that's 10. Or kind of into it, sort of, that's 2 or 1, right? So if you're thinking about 2 different ideas, you can say idea 1. All right, is this sign present? Yes. Idea 2, is this sign present? No, it's not. Okay. Or it is. All right. So in idea 1, this sign, how prevalent is this sign in idea 1? I might say, okay, that's like, I'll give it 5. And then idea 2, I'm going to give it 10. Then the one that scores the most is the one you should choose. Okay, so I hope you get that. For some of us who just have one idea, just follow it through like I said earlier on. So let's go on. All right. So sign number 1, that this is the right business for you, not because it only makes money. No, it is the right business for you. Number 1 sign is that you genuinely enjoy solving this problem. Okay. Steve Jobs definitely, absolutely enjoyed solving problems for the user and creating user experience. That's what it is. You need to ask yourself, okay, people can copy your business. That's true, but they cannot copy your enthusiasm and your interest. Are you really interested in this? Okay. Ask yourself, does this describe my business? That, yeah, I'm really interested. I'm genuinely interested in solving this. How do you know that? You can ask yourself a question. Does time stand still when I'm solving this problem? For example, I love to teach. So I'm teaching right now. Time is standing still. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying you listening to what I'm saying. I'm enjoying you getting what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Does time stand still when you're involved in solving this problem? Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 sign that you've chosen the right business is that it uses your existing strengths. Notice the existing strength that Oprah had were reading, connecting with people, speaking, being empathetic, and all those things. They were already there. So when she was taken to television, it was a perfect mix for Oprah and TV, or the Oprah Winfrey Show, because it was demanding on her existing strengths. She didn't have to go and get the strength first before she did anything. No, she could develop the strengths, which she did, but she already had them right there. So you already have what it takes to get started. If you don't have what it takes to get started, maybe that's not your business. Okay? Does this business make good use of what you are already naturally good at? When Whitney Houston, late Whitney Houston, or late Michael Jackson, because we have the film Michael out now. When the late Michael opened his mouth to sing, he already had the ability to sing. Yeah, he had to develop it. Yeah, he had to make it better. Yeah, he had to make it. He had to make it in such a way that he could deliver a note here and a note there. But he already had what it took, because he was already a good singer by the time he went to the studio. He didn't go and acquire singing ability when he went to the studio. And I know that some of you might say, well, yeah, but I know that person who, yeah, they didn't have anything. It was when they went to train. I understand that. But when you look at the lives of very successful businesses, in all, 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, they've gone the way that I'm saying it. Okay. So Oprah didn't become a great communicator because she started television. No, television gave her the platform to exhibit the great communication skills she already had. So question is, do you already have those signs? Actually, what we have here is, actually, it's more signs than that. Okay, you can take this as sign 1 if you like. Okay, sign 2. You already know people who need your offer. You already know people who need the offer that you have. In fact, you know about 5 people or 5 organizations or about 5 communities who already have the problem. The reason why this is important is that finding customers would be difficult for you if you do not already have access right now, or you don't know how to get access right now. Because sometimes you may not have them, but you know how to get it. All right. So, for example, for me, when I started the Founders Journey Framework, yeah, I already had a community built already. But if I wanted more, I knew where to go get them. Okay. Can you get 5 people? If you listen to Alex Omozi, he will tell you that get your phone out and find the first 5 people you can send your offer to. If you don't have, maybe you don't have a business. Maybe that's not the right business for you because you really don't have the customers. Neither do you know how to access the customers. Neither do you know people who can get you the customers. That's just gonna make life so difficult. All right. So do you already know people who need your offer or who need your solution? Next is, does it solve a problem people are willing to pay for? Does it solve a problem that people are willing to pay for? Sometimes you may have a solution, right, that people want, but they're not willing to pay for it. Or you might have a problem that people want. They might have a problem that they might have a solution to a problem that people have, and they want the solution, but they are willing to pay for it, but they cannot afford to pay for it. So again, you don't have a business if all 3 are not present. So you need to have a problem. You need to be solving a problem people are willing to pay to solve. They're not only willing, they're able to pay to solve it. Okay, because until there's a financial transaction, you don't have a business. All right. Next, can you start small? What do I mean by that? You know, sometimes people talk about, oh yeah, if I had, £1 million, then I can start the business. I've got this business idea. All I need is £1 million. Who is going to give you £1 million, right? If you're not Elon Musk or you're not, Tony Robbins, who's going to suddenly just give you £1 million to go start your business, except for your uncle and your dad and your mom? Yeah, they could give you £1 million to go start because, you are their child. But even so, can you start small? Even comparatively to where Amazon was, Amazon started small. I'm telling you that now. In comparison to what Jeff Bezos wanted to do, Amazon started very small. And how do I know that? Well, he had the investment to start. You might say, well, yeah, but his dad and his stepdad and his mom gave him the money. Yeah, they did, because he had access to that money. That made it possible for him to at least start with what he had. What he had was what he could lay hands on. So if you're trying to start something that requires huge equipment, but you don't have anything, can you scale it down and start small? Can you scale down this huge idea you have and start small? Oh yeah, what I want to do, right? Because I want to have a car showroom that has 1,000 cars in it. Okay, great. Can you start by selling 1 car or 2 cars from the front of your house? That's what I'm talking about. Can you scale it down to a small? Because there's so many lessons you learn when you're small that you don't learn it when you're big. In fact, it's going to enhance inefficiency when you start bigger, when you scale. So what you want to do, you want to start small and learn your lessons. Okay. So can you start small? If you cannot start small, maybe that's not the right business for you. All right. Next is, you care enough to keep going when things are difficult. Every single business that you can start, every business owner knows this. You come to a point when things are difficult and you want to give up. You just come to a point where it just doesn't look like it's going to work. It looks like it's failing. Amazon was bleeding money for years. Just looks like it's not going to work. But hey, Jeff Bezos kept going. Even when naysayers were saying it should shut down, he kept going. Can you keep going, when things get difficult? And one of the questions you can ask yourself is this: can I do this if I wasn't being paid? If you're not going to do something if you are not being paid, then it means that You're not going to keep going when it gets difficult. You're just going to give it up. You're chucking in. And I've done that so many times. That's how I know. You hear things on YouTube. Oh, all you need to do is trade. You know, you can make money trading. You learn this. Yeah, I've tried trading, but it's not really me. So when the trade gets difficult, I leave it. I go do something else because it wasn't really me. I might say, oh yeah, you can just, all you need to do, yeah, you need to do this black hat thing on the, and you need to game, you need to game YouTube. You need to game, if you can just game Facebook, if you can just game TikTok, then you can make money. And then you try it, it doesn't really work that way for you, or it's taking longer and you give up. Well, by the way, don't try and be gaming those platforms because they're bigger than you. Okay. Sooner or later, they catch up and they throw you out. So, when somebody says, well, I will have made money, you just wasted your time, because if you created something that you're going to own, you would own it now than the time you wasted, flirting around with different platforms. Anyway, so to the serious people, hey, you need to focus. Can I do this without being paid? If I cannot, maybe it's not the right business for you. Next is, can you start with what you already have? Can you start with what you already have? Like I said about the late Michael Jackson, the late Michael Jackson could walk into a studio and boom, he could have a record deal. Why? Because he could sing, and he could sing fabulously. Whitney Houston could enter into the stage and she could dance and sing because she already had it. Oprah already had what it took. When she started the Oprah Winfrey Show, she already had what was necessary. The real key was that the host had empathy, had knowledge, had great communication skills, and could connect with people. She already had it. Boom. She started, it worked. I'm not saying she didn't have any difficulties. Of course she did, but it worked. So can you start with what you already have right now? Can you start with the skills you have right now? Because you don't need a team to start. Can you start with your existing knowledge? Can you start with your existing relationship? Can you start with your existing resources? Can you start with what you have? I know a lady who started her business with £10. I'm the one who gave her that £10 that she started a business. So that's why I know. So I gave her £10 to start a business. She started a business. She was making bread, and she started making meat pies. And the meat pie business just blew up. It just blew up because she loved to cook anyway. So the meat pie business blew up. And she has moved into her first house from much of the money she gained from running that £10 business. So don't even tell me that it doesn't work, because I know it works because I've seen it. All right. So you can start with what you already have. Can you do that? If you cannot, maybe it's not the right business for you. If you need to wait until you reach the age of 90, maybe that's not the business for you. Okay. So can you start with what you already have right now? Okay. That's important. Number 7, this is really important. It kind of harmonizes everything I've been saying, which is that, what has life been preparing you for? I love the way that Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi put this point. They say, start a business with the experience you have gained in life, as long as you are 2 or 3 years ahead of the people you can help. I love that, because it's the same thing we're saying. Your life has been preparing you for where you are right now. Your life has given you the skills, the abilities, through the challenges, through your education, through your interest. You have everything you need to start your business. What has life been preparing you for? Even if you've gone through a very difficult time, right? And you come out at the end, or you have learned to cope, right? So it means that you are 2, 3 years, 4, 5 years ahead of other people who have just begun to experience what you have come out of. How can you package that and sell them the idea that's going to help them to cope and to come out quicker? You understand what I mean? So your life has been preparing you for it. Oprah's life has difficult and traumatic. Now, I'm not saying trauma is good. Please, that's not what I mean. I don't mean that at all. Trauma is not good, because some people don't even come out of trauma. So trauma is bad, right? But everything that Oprah went through enabled her to become who she was. If she didn't go through those things, right, it's unlikely she could have become who she was. I'm not saying that she needed to have gone through it per se to have come out. Maybe there were other ways she could have acquired those same skills. So don't get me wrong, and don't start talking about things I'm not really saying. All I know is everything Oprah experienced enabled her to become who she is today. All right? Because she was able to come out of that difficulty or those difficulties and help other people to come out of it as well. So what has life been preparing you for? Your experiences, the challenges you have faced, your education, your work, your interest, your success, even your failures has prepared you for where you are right now. So what has life been preparing you to build? That's the question you need to ask yourself. So those are the 7 signs that maybe you have a business worth starting. Okay. Can you start with where you are? Let's go to this. What has life been preparing you for? Can you start with what you already have? Do you care enough to keep going when things are difficult? Okay. Can you start small with what you have? Can you solve a problem that people are willing to pay for? Do you already know people who need your solution? Does it exist? Does it build? Does it utilize your strengths that you've already gained? And you genuinely enjoy solving this problem. I think there are actually 8 signs right there instead of 7. Okay, so let's look at this now. What do we do now? Let's go to this. Here we are. Somebody asked me this question when I was teaching this a few weeks ago. They said, do all 7 need to be, do all 8 or 7 need to be present? My answer is no. No, all 7 or all 8 don't need to be present, but I would like if 7 or all of them were present, or 6 were present. So if you have 2 businesses and 6 signs are present in one of the businesses and only 2 are present in the other one, obviously, what are you going to choose? You're going to choose the one that has the 6 signs that are present. To the degree to which they're present, okay, if one business you scored mostly 2 and in another business you scored them mostly 10 as being present, then obviously you're going to choose that one. So my suggestion to you is that if it's 6 or 7 signs present, it's a good fit. If it's only 5, well, you need to explore a little bit further. If it's 2 or 3, you need to stop. You need to stop or you don't do it. Okay. What next? Now, notice what I said earlier, that the stage where we've been discussing is really the explorer stage, where you're trying to choose the right business. Once you've chosen, the next stage is finding your first customers. Then the next stage after that is to build trust through consistency. Because when you're consistently delivering to your customer group, you are building trust. Then the next is to scale that trust that you've built with those customers. So you multiply the number of people that you can reach and will buy and be involved with you because you can reach more people and deliver consistently to a higher number of people. Then number 5 is to build something that is bigger than you. That's the journey that most founders go through. So right now, Oprah Winfrey and the late Steve Jobs was as the visionary founder when he passed away. And Oprah right now is at the visionary founder stage because she's building something she has built something that is bigger than herself. When Oprah passes away, what she has built, the own network, which she still owns, maybe around 5%, and the Harpo production, which she owns outright, and all the Oprah Winfrey shows that she has done, you never know, they might do a rerun, that she owns all that. And she has also built people. She has built many leaders. There's one she talks about called Gail. I still remember that. She always talks about Gail, what Gail has helped her to do and what Gail is doing, whatever. Anyway, so she has built people. All those Dr. Oz and all those people were because of Oprah. And many people that Oprah has helped their books to become successful through the book club is because of what she did. Okay, so now this is the stages that people go through. Now, the question therefore is this: have you chosen the right business? Based on what I've said, have you chosen the right business? Because if you have, your next stage is to build. Your next stage is, okay, I've chosen the right business. This is what I want to do. I know it works. I know that I'm interested. I know that people want to pay for it. I know that, my life has been preparing me for this. Okay, now, boom, you need to start getting your first customers. All right. That's building. If you haven't chosen the right business, that's why you need to stay here in this stage and go over everything I've said, particularly go over what has life been preparing you for, because inside that, you could find a business. Anything that you know you can do better than others, that's your business. Anything you know you have come out of that other people are just suffering within, then that is your business, because you can show them how to come out of it. Say you love Excel, right? Because I need to use Excel a little bit more, but I don't know much about it. Say you are in love with all the Microsoft suites, right? And you just love it, and you just know how to do it. There are thousands of people who have no clue about how to do that stuff. So because you are 5 years ahead, you may not be a coder who is fantastic in coding. You may not be that, but you know more than most people. You can create a business, package a business around that. So everything that you have gone through in life, you have gone through it so that you can be a blessing to others. Okay, now, what if you want help? Because after all I've said, somebody might say, yeah, I understand, but I still need some help. Okay, if you need some help, because founders are still asking, okay, am I making the right decision? What do I do next? How do I get my first customers? That's why I've created what's called the Founders Journey Program. And in this Founders Journey Program, what we help you to do is to build the right business, is to develop capabilities that successful founders have, is to find your first customers and to build confidence, and also to join the Founders Journey community. So we built a program that is ideal for explorers like yourself, or for those who want to get their first customers. I'm going to tell you now, that is the first three areas. I've got excellent experience in that. I've got excellent experience in helping people build businesses, because I've taught that for over 20 years, and I've built many businesses myself, and I know how to get customers, and I also know how to build trust. Part of what I'm doing now is I'm building trust. Okay, if you need any help, then what you need to do, I'm going to leave this for a minute, is for you to write down this number and send me a WhatsApp message to say, yeah, Boomy, I need help. I need help with this. And we'll book a 20-minute free founders strategy call. I will see if I can help you. If I cannot help you, I cannot help you. But I think I can help most people because of my experience and my knowledge of business. I can help most people. So if you think you need help, then do call me, and let's book a free strategy call, and we'll talk about your business, what you want to do, and you can decide. Okay, fine. This is a WhatsApp UK number or message, or you can email me to boomy@startyourownbusinessacademy.com, and the number is +44 7932 394620. Okay, we've come to the end, and I really think that you've got a lot out of today. Please, wherever you're watching this, comment below. Let me know that you've enjoyed this. And if you have any other questions, I'm here to help you answer it. Thank you so much. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say. If you're watching this, you can collect your assessment tool if you look in the description box, you'll find an assessment tool there that will help you to decide where you are. It's a free tool, so you might as well get it. It will help you to decide where you are and what you can do to help you succeed in your business. All right. Thank you so much. And yeah, the assessment tool is great. So just look in the description box below and get that, because it will really help you. It will create for you, it will tell you what stage you're at and exactly what you need to do to move forward. Okay. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.